going to talk next about how to get your keyboards, your pianos, your synths, your pads, and your tracks to sit in your mix and behave. Okay, so to start off, we have pretty much zeroed out the whole channel strip. Right now, the only thing that's on the keyboard is some high-pass filter, and that's currently set somewhere around 70 or 80, and that's just to get rid of some of the really low rumble in your mix. Everything below 70 or 80 is that space where your bass guitar and your kick drum are going to be forming and creating that nice low thick energy, and you don't want your keyboards to be messing with that down low. So we're going to start out by just simply putting high pass filter on it, and then we're going to also introduce you to a new plugin at the campus level. This plugin is absolutely amazing. It has some awesome capabilities. It's called the Waves C6, and it is a 6-band multi-band compressor. For lack of better terms, this is 6 compressors in one, but they're frequency-specific compressors. So it's kind of a mixture between an EQ and a compressor all in one. As you can see on the screen right now, it's working on our Keys 1 channel. Let me go ahead and fade in the audio here. Alright, so quickly, let's just listen to that synth really quick here. Alright, so this is the synth without anything on it, and it sounds pretty good, but in a large room on a large sound system, it becomes a little overpowering in the low end, low mids, and even some of the harsh notes up top. So really quickly, let's just pop that Wave C6 on the keyboard channel. And you'll be able to find this particular preset for the Wave C6 in your Highlands Audio preset folder. And we're going to recall the Keys Tracks preset that we've created. And this quickly is going to start taming and controlling some of the rumbly low end that's in a lot of keyboards, as well as some of the harsh notes. So automatically you can tell that keyboard channel is just more controlled, and the sound is less harsh and less boomy. And that's a really good thing when it comes to fitting into a mix. So now that that's recalled, let's quickly go to our input and look at the main channel strip. And let's mess with a little EQ. So I'm going to go ahead and push this keyboard up on top of the mix so we can really hear what it's doing. So it sounds pretty good, but there's some harsh notes up top. Let's see if we can track those down. So I'm going to take my high mid EQ and I'm going to boost it. And I'm just going to kind of sweep it from left to right and see if I can track down something here. So somewhere right here in this 2.75, 3K range, it gets pretty harsh. So let's go ahead and take some of that out. Let's go to our low mid EQ band, and in almost every keyboard or synth, the 1K range is usually a pretty problematic sound, especially when you're pushing these at higher volumes in large rooms. You can almost hear automatically how it starts whistling a little bit there. So let's go ahead and take that out. And then there's also some low mids in this particular room that are a little boomy, so let's just kind of boost our low band EQ and kind of sweep it around a little bit. Find that somewhere in there, and we'll just take some of that out. Now every room is different when it comes to low frequencies and low mid frequencies, and so sometimes you have to take out a lot, sometimes just a little bit, but just feel it out and use your ears. One other thing I want to mention specifically about keys is you probably want to boost somewhere around 10K on your EQ if you're EQing a piano, like a traditional grand piano sound or an upright piano sound. It adds just a little bit of clarity, a little bit of chime, but you probably don't want to boost that frequency if it's a synth or some kind of an electronic sound, because that frequency specifically gets a little harsh and a little bitey in that area. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. But let's go ahead and settle that keyboard into the mix here. So right now that keyboard is out on top of the mix. We've controlled it nicely with the C6, and we've taken away some of the muddy and harsh frequencies with the EQ. So let's just settle that into the mix. Alright, so quickly you can notice that the electric guitar lead line and the keys lead line, that synth lead line, they play off of each other really nicely. So I'm just kind of balancing those out so that you can hear each of them, but neither of them is overpowering the mix. They're settled nicely into the mix. All right. One other thing I want to mention regarding the frequencies that we took away in this low-mid area is, by itself it might not sound bad, but if you take away a little bit of that, it leaves some space for the bass guitar to tonally cut through. And then up in these higher frequencies, taking away a little bit in those areas leaves kind of some space and pocket for some of the electric guitar and some of the vocals to sit a little bit better in the mix. One thing that we always have to remember when it comes to putting together a mix is that the vocal is absolutely the highest priority for us in our mixes. We want to make sure that the vocal is understood and heard and very clear. And one of the ways we do that isn't by just simply getting a good vocal sound, but it's by making sure that we create pockets of frequencies within our tonal instruments, our electrics and our keyboards, and even our acoustic guitars. The approach that we've taken here to get this keyboard sound is going to be pretty much identical when it comes to getting a good track sound with the tracks and the synths or whatever might be coming to you from Ableton. Of course, every room is different, every sound is different, every player is different, and so you have to use these principles as a great starting point. But once you get here, you should be able to slightly manipulate things and get a great sound out of your keys and your tracks. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. I really hope that this tutorial gives you a good starting point to then build off of. Thanks again for everything you do at the campuses. We just absolutely love having you on the team. We couldn't do it without you. You're amazing.